Target Trading Academy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Preston Vogl here at Target Trading Academy with today's Micros Market Recap. It is Monday, September 18th at the close of New York. If we just take a quick look at oil, oil opened above its close from yesterday, practically on that contract high. As you can see through the progression that we finally got it. I mean, it wasn't terribly far away from it. They had some response around it. Tried to make some new highs. They did make new highs, but they couldn't sustain them. And they came right back down, testing these HVA lows. And quite frankly, the setup wasn't ideal, but they did eventually turn it around after blowing through it ever so slightly. And you can see that afternoon that it started coming back up and recovering those values. Now, we are finishing that down on the day with gold. Gold opened above its close, and then we got it immediately. And you can see they were just ping ponging around. And then during lunch, they had to move up, and then they just died out. So the most movement of the day, it was just consolidated inside of these HVA ranges. Remember, these ranges, these HVAs are given out the night before the next day's trading activity. So there's no intraday HVAs or anything that are distributed. These are all drawn the day before, the evening before, more precisely. But as you can see, they did just consolidate in between that, and then they exploded out and didn't get anywhere else. But with that said, it is finishing net positive. And it was a little bit slower of a day, I will say. That's a typical Monday. Mondays are generally more slower. They're typically pretty consistent, though, at those edges and at those ranges. So they're not, it's not that it's a bad day for trading. Mm, it's just slower overall. And that's not to say that it can't be slow in the week, but it's more of a lack of range extensions, and they just keep hitting these repeated levels over and over again, and it just takes longer to develop. Moving on to the equities, the ES here, micro ES, if we just scrunch this up, we opened, as you can see, inside of that range, and they just hit this contract low a couple times. They kept trying it, and eventually they just gave up on moving down, which is great because we have levels above us, not below us. If they went down below, they would have just been trending entries for the students that don't have those opportunities. They would have been, hung out to dry. But they did come back into the balance. Well, they never actually really left that much, but they came back in, and then they made some new highs on the day. And you can see that they started hitting this HVA here, the one HVA that we had for the ES from yesterday's range, or I should say Friday's. But ultimately, they are closing ever so slightly above the range from yesterday. Now, the markets are going to move for about another hour or so. So that could change, especially with how close they are to the close from Friday. But so far, ultimately, it looks like we're positive on the day. Very similar story in the Nasdaq. I'll try to scrunch back. It's not going to let me. But I'll have to move back as far as I can to see how that market opened right there. That all HVA is also the new contract low. Remember, we rolled over. We have new start dates from these contracts that they've just been traded more recently now. All the majority of participation for them is in this contract now. That's December's contract. But you can actually see we opened ever so slightly, gap down, hit that HVA edge, had a little response off of that contract low. They finally punched through it, got to their close, and they can see that they were just fiddling around this HVA edge right here, this 15,412 mark area, for the majority of the day, just back and forth. And it wasn't until we got closer to lunch that we see that expansion start to climb. And then they stalled out and went sideways again, and they just retraced back into that HVA edge again. And so this edge was well traversed on the shorts. It looks like we had maybe 9 or 10 possible opportunities. Obviously, not all of them worked out. The vast majority did respond off of it quite decently. And then I didn't count how many times it was on the other side for the longs, but again, it was just a well-traversed area. Tons of volume in this area, but we are finishing net positive on the day in this market as well. So we're positive in our equities and positive in gold while we are negative in oil. If you are interested in learning more information about these levels and how you can get them onto your charts the night before, as well as learning more about the methodology that we teach live in the rooms with the review of your trades as you submit them to learn the process, then feel free to reach out to us. We are Target Trading Academy. You can find us online or go to our Facebook page. You can find us online at targettrading.co. And or Facebook, like I said before. And that's, like I said, get in touch with us and we'll talk with you and show you what we do in our rooms each and every day. And you'll be able to see for yourself why we are the number one trading education company in the world. We look forward to seeing you there.